2 nights ago, in their first home game of the Roaring 20s, the Cougars lit it up for Zeo Golding, a career high. Rashawn Amos put up 21 again. And the little guy, Kenta Jones, iced the darn thing. A win over Aurora gave Concordia its 4th W of the season. And now 48 hours later, we're back at it on a rockin' Thursday night at Geisman Gym. Thank you for spending it with us. I'm Sam Brief alongside my partner, Carter Gledhill. And Carter, Tuesday night, 79 points for Concordia. The offense was rock solid in the win over Aurora. This team a little shorthanded, but they're playing with a lot of juice right now.
Yeah, we've talked about it throughout the season that without Gladney and Meeks, that what is this Concordia going to do to respond? And we've seen guys like Golding step up and have a career night at 27 points. Absolutely dominate. But we've also seen guys that we didn't expect at the beginning of the year to take on the role of a big role. And we got Isaac Rudell, who's come up and now is leading the NAC in three-point percentage. So it's really exciting to see that when those guys come back and are healthy, this team's going to be very competitive down the stretch.
You like cookies, my friend?
I do.
Okay, how about Famous Amos?
Oh, man, he's just something else.
All righty, yeah, Rashawn Amos, transfer from Blackburn. He came over with Coach Kohler from the Blackburn program in St. Louis. He's lit it up. 6 straight games with double digits, 3 straight with 21 points. The senior guard's been magnificent.
And when we've seen that when the ball was not when Meeks or Gladney's hand, he was the one that was around it. He's the one that jumpstarts his whole Cougar offense. And when he's not scoring, he's making plays and setting it up for everybody else. And that's what makes him such a versatile guard for this Cougars team.
So tonight, Maranatha Baptist University, which, folks, is actually the only independent men's basketball program in all of Division III. They are not in a conference. They used to be in the NAC until the end of the 2013 season, and the SaberCats come to town, so we get a matchup of the Cougars and the SaberCats tonight, a NAC team against a former NAC team. It's a small team. The tallest player on the court when we open the ball game is going to be 6'5" Stephen Wilkerson, who's been Maranatha Baptist's best performer.
And it's just one thing, when we look at this thing, the first thing we saw is that this team is from all over the place. And to see that they're going around in talent and picking them up, it's going to be really exciting to see him play. And like we said, with short-handed with height, but he definitely is going to have some shooting skill to show off a little bit.
And Carter, what are some keys in terms of how Concordia should approach this game? Because Maranatha Baptist, they're a team that likes to get out and run, but they do turn the ball over a lot. 19 turnovers a game. That's a lot.
Yeah, and it's going to go with Concordia starting fast. They're going to have to keep the pressure on, and it's going to start from both sides of the ball especially. But like you mentioned, the defensive side with MBU turning the ball over so many times, look for them to pressure Aaron Sanders, their point guard. He's had about 4 turnovers a game, and that's something the Cougars are going to be able to key off of on that side. But also, too, they're not a very high shooting team. They're only 43% from the field and under 30% from behind the arc. So it's definitely going to come into a factor where the Cougars are going to be able to take the risks on the defensive side and force them to take those unwanted shots.
Just like we had on Tuesday night with the matchup against Aurora, it was 2 first-year head coaches going at it. It's the same situation tonight. Coach Steve Kohler leading Concordia, his first season here in River Forest, going up against another guy who's in his first year as a head coach, and Joel Borkhardt, first season as the Maranatha Baptist lead man. And right now the SaberCats come in 3-5, coming off their best performance of the season, and a 105-68 point drubbing of Emmaus, in which the SaberCats scored 61 points in the first half. The team shot 56% from the field. They had 13 players come in the ball game, and all 13 of them scored. So the SaberCats certainly riding high into River Forest, but history, my friends, is not on their side. 10 of the last 11 times they've gone toe-to-toe with the Cougars, Maranatha Baptist has come up empty, and Concordia is red hot. Still a bit shorthanded. 2 of the names that you might recognize as mainstays in the program, Landon Gladney, the fantastic sophomore center, and Jalen Meeks, who was the leading scorer of the team, second leading scorer in the NAC. Both of them have missed the last few games. They will both miss tonight's game. But Rashawn Amos, Zeo Golding, and how about Brent Hatton, some of these other guys who really have stepped up in the absence of 2 of your leaders.
Yeah, we were watching the game on Tuesday, and we were kind of anticipating a big game from Hatton because up until that point, he went a month without hitting a three-pointer, and he already was leading the NAC at one point and made threes as a freshman. And the last game on Tuesday was his first time in double-digit points since December, so it was really nice to see him drop a nice 16 with 6 rebounds and help the Cougars get past the Spartans.
We've got about a minute and a half until the national anthem. We'll have tip-off for you shortly thereafter here on the Cougar Sports Network. Sam Brief, Carter Gledhill up here in the broadcast booth. Let's get you a little more about some of the guys down on the floor to start tonight's game. And for Maranatha Baptist, their point guard, Aaron Sanders, he'll bring the ball up the court, 6'2", 180-pound sophomore out of Bentonville, Arkansas. And Carter, you mentioned Maranatha Baptist. They've got guys from everywhere. Aaron Sanders says he's probably the only guy on their entire campus from Arkansas. 11 different states and 2 different countries, both America and Peru, are represented on the Maranatha Baptist roster. So it really is kind of a smorgasbord of a lot of different states for the SaberCats.
It's a very unique team. You don't really get to see that a lot in D3, let alone I think in a lot of recruiting classes and schools as well for basketball.
All right, Carter, so we got about 40 seconds till the anthem. Give me your one most major key for Concordia to get a second straight win tonight.
Play fast. They're going to have to get off to another fast start. They started the game against Aurora with 8 made threes in the first half, and it's going to be important they do the same thing because when we were watching warm-ups, this SaberCat team did not look fast. So if they're able to jump out first and get on early with the speed, they should be fine for another win.
All right, folks, we'll be back on the other side with some basketball. Thursday night hoops right around the corner. Maranatha Baptist against Concordia. Talk to you on the other side.
The men and women of our military and our first responders with the playing of our national anthem. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Geisman Gymnasium for tonight's non-conference men's basketball game between the SaberCats of Maranatha.
Welcome back, everyone, here at Geisman Gym. This is Cougar Basketball on the Cougar Sports Network, and we've got Thursday night hoops right around the corner between the SaberCats of Maranatha Baptist University and the Cougars of Concordia. And fans, we'd like to remind you that the 69th annual Concordia Invitational Tournament is just around the corner, so don't miss your chance to be a part of this special 2-day event. To get more information and to save yourself a couple bucks, go to cucougars.com/CIT. That's cucougars.com/CIT to get your tickets today. So, the Cougars come in 4-6 with a 4-3 conference record, but this is a non-con showdown against the only independent program in all of Division III men's basketball in Maranatha Baptist, a former member of the NAC, but no longer, as the Cougars look to get their second win of the night against the SaberCats, who are 3-5. They've played just one home game this year, 2-5 road record, and the SaberCats, they've won 2 games in a row. Their starting lineup looks like this. Aaron Sanders, we already mentioned him, the point guard wearing number 5 in dark blue. He'll be joined in the backcourt by Taylor Ball, a 6'4 junior out of Arizona. Jed Mahak, a 6'3 sophomore out of Madison, Wisconsin. Zeke Sturwald, a two-sport athlete at Maranatha Baptist, Whitewater, Wisconsin native, makes the start. And the man in the middle for Joel Borkart's SaberCats is Stephen Wilkerson, a 6'5 junior forward out of Dallas. The Concordia lineup being introduced right in front of your eyes. You see the men in maroon, white, and gold. Here's the Cougars starting lineup. They are led by Steve Collar in his first season at the helm here. It looks like this. You've got Rashawn Amos, 6-foot senior out of St. Louis, a transfer from Blackburn College. He scored 21 points in 3 straight games. He starts in the backcourt alongside Zeo Golding, 6'3", 200-pound, fifth-year senior. Brent Hatton, the freshman out of Olney, Illinois. Neil O'Donnell, 6'2", senior captain. And Isaac Rudell, the sharpshooting magician, wearing number 14, 6'3", sophomore out of St. Joseph, Michigan. Those are the starting lineups, and we're just about ready for some basketball between Concordia and Maranatha Baptist. Tuesday night, Cougars took on Aurora. They got an 8-point win, 79-71. Career high 27 points for Zeo Golding, and Rashawn Amos poured in double digits for the 6th consecutive game. Carter Gledhill, it's a joy to have you with me, and for all of you at home, joy to have you all with us. Thanks for watching Cougar basketball. We'll take you along for the ride on this unseasonably warm Thursday night. I think Tuesday it was about 15. Now it's about 50 outside.
There's going to be some weird weather coming our way, especially.
It's weird season. Here we go. Tip. And that's Aaron Sanders with the ball. We're underway between the SaberCats and the Cougars. 4-guard lineup for Joel Borkart's team. Tallest guy on the court has the ball right now, Wilkerson, who put it in. He's just 6'5". Tallest guy in Concordia's starting lineup. It's the 6'4" Brett Hatton, who's a guard playing way outside. This is small ball at its finest, my friend.
And I think the Cougars are going to have the advantage tonight because they are the better shooting team because of guys like Rudell who are just ready to shoot from each side.
Zeo Golding picks up right where he left off. Scored 27 on Tuesday night. 5th-year senior out of Windermere, Florida. He's on the ball right now as Wilkerson goes to the hoop. Comes up empty. Now it's O'Donnell up the court. Cougars swinging the ball around the perimeter. Isaac Rudell leads the NAC in 3, and boy, that'll continue. He pours it in. Rudell hitting about 60% of his threes this year.
And you saw it from there. Amos set that play up from the top of the key. He was dribbling around and making sure, just setting up and looking for a guy to find, and it just so happened to be Rudell sitting outside of the arc.
Isaac Rudell came into the ball game hitting 59% of his threes on the season. It's not like the season started yesterday. That's a significant number at this point. Maranatha Baptist, the SaberCats in the blue and gold uniforms. This one tipped to Amos. Looking for Zeo Golding, but a bit too long. And Coach Steve Collar in the sharp gray suit tonight, yelling at Amos. So a little background for you guys on Maranatha Baptist. I've mentioned a couple times they used to be in the NAC. They left the conference at the end of 2013 for competitive reasons. As Taylor Ball nails it from the corner. Their coach, Joel Borkart, who's in his first season as the lead man, he played at Maranatha in the early 2010s. And that's when they were part of the NAC. So he played Concordia 4 times, said he went 0 for 4 in his career, which makes sense because Concordia's won 10 of the last 11 matchups between the two. Amos a deep 3. Ice! Amos, 6 straight points, 6 straight games with double digits, and he keeps the momentum going.
We looked great right there, and you saw Hatton. It was nice to see him be able to take on the post, too, because he's become more of that tool threat with driving to the post since he went on that scoreless streak of threes for almost a month.
Quick sub here, some more height on the court. The 6'7" freshman Tavares Williams trickles in favor of the 6'3" Golding. Zeo to the bench. Cougars with a hot offensive start. Let's see what Maranatha can do. Ball hit a 3 last time. Long one here from Sanders. A bit too strong. Clangs off the glass. Quick putback. Zeke Sturwald, no good. And Rudell the board.
You see already in there, they're very aggressive, the SaberCats, with their rebounds, averaging almost 40 a game. That's pretty high for a team that we see with not a lot of height.
Loose ball foul on Maranatha Baptist, so it'll stay with Concordia here. Jackson Gaddy into the game. Rudell coming out, and that foul went against Aaron Sanders, 5 in blue. Here's Amos a 3. He nails it.
We talked about in the pregame, getting the fast start early, and we're seeing Amos heating up, and that's going to be dangerous down the stretch if the SaberCats can't stop him on the perimeter.
We've heard that one once or twice. 2 early threes for Rashawn Amos. This is Sturwald. He buries a 3 from the corner. Zeke Sturwald playing just his 4th game of the season. He missed the first 5 SaberCat games, not because of injury, but because he's on the soccer team. Conflict between the men's soccer schedule and the men's basketball schedule. So Sturwald alongside one of his teammates, Bryant Sturgill, who you might see coming off the bench at some point in the game. They're both on the soccer team. So they missed the first 5 games, and then they rejoined the basketball team for the last 3. Sturwald scoring 17, 8, and 9 points in the 3 games he's played in. He's also the leading scorer on the soccer team, by the way. Had 8 goals this year and was all-region a year ago. SaberCat ball, Cougars on top, 11-8. Glad to have you all along for the ride on a wonderful Thursday night. The last home game for Steve Kohler's team before the CIT. Next 4 all on the road. And another Maranatha Baptist turnover will spill it over to the Cougars. A little more experience on the court. 6'5" senior Charlie Resnikoff. He checks in.
You didn't get to play that much last game, but it's going to be a kind of a bounce-back game for him as he's going to be looking to control the paint as one of the tallest guys on the court today for the Cougars.
Here's Hatton. No good, but he gets his own board. Back out to Gaddy, slicing and dicing. He's hacked hard by Tyler Reed, who just checked in for the SaberCats. Free throws coming up for the Louisville native.
Number 11, Tyler Reed, his first, team third. 2-shot foul at the line is number 4.
So Jackson Gaddy to the line. How about this? It's his first free throw attempt of the season. Didn't go according to plan.
Returning to the lineup for the Cougars.
Jackson Gaddy, freshman out of Louisville, on the team, playing alongside his brother, Jaron Gaddy. Second free throw attempt of the season. This one goes certainly as he imagined. Cougars hold on to the lead. Just under 5 minutes in, and here's the SaberCats on offense. Carter, something we were chatting about a bit before the game. There's not enough SaberCats in sports. It's a great mascot, a great nickname. SaberCats.
Yeah, we were saying, like, it sounds like really cool, and the logo we absolutely love. It's kind of like the Nashville Predators. We wish we had more unique mascots like that.
Similar color scheme to the Preds. Here's Wilkerson on the run. He misses the 3, and then Resnikoff snags the rebound with one hand. Corner, no 3 from Williams. Rainbow pass to Rudell. He lets it go, and he buries it. Isaac Rudell, unconscious from behind the arc this season, and he's 2 for 2 tonight, forcing a SaberCat timeout.
And that's what happens, just the fast pace that they took up. It took 2 passes up, and then you get the miscommunications on the SaberCats defense, and you leave Rudell open, and that's just 3 points right there. Too easy for the Cougars.
Well, Carter, one of your keys for Concordia, start fast, because they got 8 threes in the first half Tuesday night against Aurora. They played less than 5 minutes. Already 4 for 6 from behind the arc. Quick offensive start.
Hey, they're looking really good. Like we said, hitting all their shots. They're moving the ball well. Now it's just consistency is what we're going to be looking for. And they're going to have to back it up on the defensive side, too.
Here's my question. If a Sabercat and a Cougar met in the wild, who comes out on top?
That's a good question. I think Sabercat got the intimidation factor with the big teeth, but I think the Cougars are going to be a little quicker. Looking good. Looking a little bit better.
A little more stealth for a Cougar?
I would say so.
For those of you maybe wondering, a Sabercat, there's a million kinds as Wilkerson drains a three. Maybe not a million kinds. You know, I'm not an animal scientist, but it's any cat with a long curved tooth. So I guess you got to say which type of Sabercat against the Cougars. But the ones tonight, the Maranatha Baptist type, and Wilkerson leading them so far as he drained another three and then comes up with the ball off Tyler Reed's block right there. Foul on Rudell, and Maranatha Baptist will keep it.
I think we've talked so much about how Rudell has to step up in a role with the absence of Meeks and Gladney. He only played 46 minutes as a freshman. So for him to come out right now as a sophomore and show up for Steve Collar, it's pretty impressive to see that.
Isaac Rudell, an all-state basketball player from St. Joseph High School down in St. Joseph, Michigan. Also the hometown of Kate Upton, in the southwest part of that state.
We've been seeing a lot of famous people lately.
We've been seeing a lot?
Well, we've been encountering
she in town?
A lot of people with answering people.
Here's Amos, letting it fly and pouring it in.
Big NBA range there from Amos. He's on fire right now. Perfect 3 for 3 from behind the arc.
Amos and Rudell combined have put up 5 threes and drained them all. Cougars 5 for 7 from behind the arc. Steve Kohler's team built on its offense, its fast pace. Cougars go flying, and it's Concordia whistled for a foul. I think that one's against Rudell. The Cougs second in the NAC in points a game. 84 per contest, and the foul indeed goes against Rudell. His second, so he'll check out, and Zio Golding comes in. It's a non-conference matchup, so you won't hear us chatting too much about the standings tonight. But Concordia entered tonight tied for 5th in the NAC as Reed bangs it off the glass. Benedictine and Wisconsin Lutheran tied for the conference lead with 6-1 records. And one thing that both of those programs is Amos makes the three and the foul.
It's shocking. This is something probably, we talked about fast start. This is acceleration on the gas pedal right now from Amos.
Clapping his hands, he can sense it. That was a heat check, plus he got checked. And now he'll have a chance for 4. Amos 4 for 4 from behind the arc. And that one, the good old-fashioned and one. This guy's on fire.
This is the fastest start we've seen out of Amos this whole season. And we're
it's
only
hard to
about
go much
7
quicker
minutes
than
in.
that.
7 minutes into the game already.
Now his 7th straight game in double figures, and we just started. Misses the free throw. About a 75% free throw shooter on the season. Now applying saran wrap defense. Pokes the ball away. Sabercats get it back. Davis misses a 3. That's Josh Davis. And now Golding on the break. Kicks it to Gaddy. Couple dribbles. Over to the freshman Williams. The 5th-year senior Golding swirls it in and out. Sabercat ball with Caleb Moultrie up the court. Moultrie to the corner. Ball a 3. Swirls out. Offensive board. Ball going all over the place. Tyler Reed tries to clean up the mess, and it'll come right back to Concordia. Resnikoff powering all the way to the hoop. Charlie Resnikoff goes wire to wire. Timeout called. It's a double-digit Concordia lead. And we will take a pause here on the Cougar Sports Network to remind you fans that Chick-fil-A is a proud sponsor of Concordia University of Chicago athletics. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, the Chick-fil-A in Melrose Park has you covered. Chick-fil-A, eat more chicken. Hope you're all having a fantastic Thursday. Sam Brief, Carter Gledhill up here in the booth with our producer Shelby Spitz. CJ Selner leading the charge, and Ryan McGee and Grace Miller are other integral members of our crew. And Mr. Gledhill, you wanted a fast start for Concordia. In 7.5 minutes, they've scored 23 points. Rashawn Amos hasn't missed. Isaac Rudell hasn't missed. Playing with a lot of energy.
It's exciting to see that because we talked about it the whole time. Coach Kohler's really said it too. It's all about energy because once it takes a little spark for this team, they start going and they just keep building off each other's momentum and gameplay.
On the break, Golding to the hoop. He got it.
Starting strong from him after the career performance he had against Aurora. That was a nice little sidestep he had there to get around the defense.
12-point lead for the Cougs. Here's Zeke Stewald, the two-sport athlete, whipping it outside to Mayhack. Shot fake. Jed Mayhack loses the ball, but it goes out of bounds off a Cougar. It'll stay right here.
We're already seeing early from the SaberCats offense, everything's trying to do a high ball screen and then just try to roll into the paint because we said they don't have the height, but what they're going to do is they're either going to do a nice little floater jump shot in or they're going to try to kick it out to the corners as we've seen so many times.
Rashawn Amos getting a much-needed rest. He checks out alongside Gaddy. In comes Neil O'Donnell and Kenta Jones. Stewart fouled. He'll get free throws. Kenta Jones, someone that when we had Coach Kohler up in the booth after the Aurora game, he raved about. The 5'7" senior. Jones iced Tuesday's game with a clutch shot clock beating 3 with 1.5 minutes left. He had some hustle plays. Couple nice steals. I mean, Kenta was all over the place.
It was like we were seeing no matter what the ball was, Kenta was there. We saw plenty of balls. There was a half-court violation almost, and instead of letting it go, he sprinted over half-court and made a play on it. It just shows how special this kid is, especially as a senior, and he's really just taking it over and trying to show these young guys the way, trying to bring the energy to this team.
Stewart-Wald's second free throw goes out. Cougar ball with an 11-point lead. Neil O'Donnell leading the charge up the court. Braidwood, Illinois native, just about an hour southwest of here. Hatton nails a 3.
Great quick little play there from the Cougars. 2 ball reversals and Hatton coming off of a ball screen on the top. That was a nice, simple play. Way to get the freshman going early.
Hatton with 16 points his last time out. He watches Moultrie take it right to the hoop. We mentioned all the national flavor on this Maranatha roster as O'Donnell cashes in from 3. 11 different states represented. You've got guys from all over the place, from Peru, which of course isn't a state, but a country, to Iowa, to South Carolina, Arkansas, Texas. Maranatha Baptist, 1 player from the state of Illinois, and that's Caleb Moultrie, who you saw score their last trip down the court. He's from Rickton Park, south suburb of Chicago. The only Land of Lincoln native for Maranatha Baptist. We've got 2 Land of Lincoln natives up here in the booth. Carter Gledhill, proud graduate of Buffalo Grove High School. 2-sport star.
Go Bison. Go Bison.
That makes too much sense. Buffalo Grove, Bison, just like the Buffalo Bills.
How about the performance? The playoffs have been going right now for the NFL. It's been an exciting watch, too, just seeing everything. We saw the Patriots. That was insane to see them lose. I was really, really pulling for the Bills.
Some of that Buffalo Grove pride that gets you on the Buffalo teams. Maybe subconsciously.
Yeah,
the look on your face isn't telling me. Yeah, absolutely.
The hard part was they were playing the Texans, and I'm a huge J.J. Watt fan, so I had to go with the Texans. So I was excited to see them win. As we used to say, when the Cubs win a World Series, it's always next year, Buffalo.
Indeed there is. And right now the Cougars on top by 17, pouring it on early. They're on a 15-3 run over the last 3 minutes. SaberCats looking to respond. Wilkerson misses it off the glass, and now Hatton will lead the charge up the court. Slicing and dicing, kicks it to Golding, who powers through to the hoop, and he's fouled hard. Taylor Ball got him. Free throws incoming for the fifth-year senior.
And you see just the quick reversals by Hatton, but it was really nice job by the bench, too, letting him know that he had a chaser coming down, looking to steal the ball. Way to pull up and find the open man. And a little confusion on the SaberCats side, letting Golden just go through without any contention.
That's something Coach Kohler loves. We hear him talk about that off the cuff a little bit. The bench being into it. He wants to see an energetic bench that's cluing the guys on the court in on what's happening and just providing a little bit of a spark.
And usually referred to as the bench mob. They've been in every game, and it's either providing energy, strategy, or just calling out the little stuff like that on a chaser. It's been something that's really been kind of like that sixth man on the court for the Cougars all year.
And right now, all the guys on the bench mob chanting defense. You see them clapping their hands on the far side of your screen.
Imagine when CIT comes around and the whole Geisman Gymnasium's getting into that too. That's going to be an exciting scene.
Oh, and here's a free run for O'Donnell. He lays it in easy. Cougars on top by 21. Concordia picking right up where they left off. Bounce pass goes wayward. I think it hit a Cougar. SaberCat ball.
Cougar foul, number 21, Charlie Resnikoff, his second.
For the first time today, Dwayne Burns Jr. checks in. Some fresh legs on the court for Coach Kohler's team as Resnikoff comes out, getting a breather. Then the rec spectacled Burns Jr. in, and he plays some defense there, forcing a miss. Scramble for the ball. No whistle yet, and there you go. Jump ball, it'll be Cougar basketball. How about the men in stripes letting them play there a little bit?
I like the physicality early. Let the boys play, as they say, and I like it a lot. We want controlled, though. Controlled, though. We don't need anything getting out of hand.
No, of course not.
No.
Concordia on a 22-5 run over the last 5.5 minutes. Looking to keep the momentum going. It's Neil O'Donnell swinging to Hatton. Shot fake for the freshman. Right back out to a guy 4 years his elder. Hatton in the corner. Just a second to go. They ran out of time.
That's one dribble too much there by Hatton, but you got to love the ball reversal and movement around from the Cougars. Really spreading it around outside of the top of the key. Really working the offense, and it's looking good so far.
When we listen to Coach Kohler talk about his offense, he talks about constant movement, no stagnancy. He wants the ball always in motion, those one more passes where you might not think you need to pass, but you do it anyway to move the defense. Here's Jed Mayhack.
We talk about how much we love Coach Kohler loves Jones. We just saw in that. We had Neil O'Donnell go down on the top of the court. Not only did he get help side in the paint, but he also was able to close out in the corner on a three-pointer. You got to love the hustle from the kid on the defensive side.
Team 7.
The offensive foul there going against Mayhack. Madison, Wisconsin native. Jed Mayhack from Badgerland. So Cougars up 37-16. Dominating so far. Shooting 8 of 11 from behind the arc as a team. With Amos leading the charge with 4 of them. Here's Hatton from way downtown. That one in and out. Wilkerson the board for Maranatha Baptist. How about that hard collision between O'Donnell and Wilkerson, and Neil O'Donnell whistled for a foul. Stephen Wilkerson, 6'5", 205. He went flying that time.
Definitely see now the athleticism from the Cougars, though. Probably could have used a little more skill and gotten around that there, but I like the aggressiveness shown early from O'Donnell already.
Here's Wilkerson with the ball. Leads the team in boards and points. averaging 16 points, 8 rebounds a game, and O'Donnell comes up with a steal. That's the 5th SaberCat turnover of the evening. Burns has it outside, swinging it all the way around. Great ball movement from Concordia here. Amos, his 5th 3 of the game. Ooh, that one in and out. His first miss of the game.
Hear from Coach Colwer, though, talking about moving the ball. He's telling his guys to move, and you can see what happens. After a couple movements around the top of the arc, the SaberCats are out of joint, and that's when you get the free shots like that.
Rashawn Amos leading all scorers. 12 points, 4 of 5 shooting, all of them threes. Here's Wilkerson, spin move outside to Sturwald. Amos applying the pressure. Just 10 on the clock. Sturwald lets it go, and he banks it home. That's the 4th made 3 of the game for Maranatha Baptist. And they pulled it within 18 here in the first half. O'Donnell out to Hatton. Into the corner to Burns. Now Amos top of the key. Golding lets it go, and he cashes in. Zio Golding saw him score a career high on Tuesday. Here on a Thursday night, he hits his first tray.
Coming off the hot hand with 11 from 19 from the field in that game, and he's continuing tonight. Great look there by the setup, too.
Sturwald trying to navigate the stealth pressure from the Cougars. Mayhack a 3. Too strong. Rebound tapped around to Davis. Nice board as he gets it to Reed. And Tyler Reed, the Texas kid, puts it in.
Great job by Reed, though, seeing that Davis was in trouble with the rebound and finding the open middle of the lane and just cutting through. When guys in trouble, you always look to cut towards the basket, and good things will happen.
Hatton reverse layup plus the foul. Freshman getting it done at the rim.
It's been super exciting to watch him throughout the year, too, because we've said he's been usually came at the start. He was that three-point sharpshooter as a tall guard, but now we've seen him start to develop a little more versatility and movement, and he's been able to make those baseline plays a little bit more often now.
We saw Neil O'Donnell doing a lot of running in the last couple minutes, leading some breaks, so he's going to get a breather on the bench. He lifted from the game for Jackson Gaddy. And now another sub with the shooter coming out. Hatton out. Fellow freshman Tavares Williams in the game. Fox Lake, Illinois native. Williams, 6'7", 188-pound freshman. He's got a lot of height. He was an all-conference volleyball player in high school. Certainly wouldn't want to meet him at the net.
You see him in warm-ups, too. He's the guy that ends the warm-up routine with the dunk, and he displayed some hops today for sure in warm-ups.
Can you dunk? No. No way.
I could.
I asked that
maybe.
question fully knowing the answer.
I think I've been better at it, but we'll see at the end of the year.
All right. So I just heard a lot of words, but really the only word I heard was no.
If I believe in myself a little bit more, we'll see what happens.
Some free throws here for Tyler Reed after the Cougar foul. Went against Amos, and now Rudell comes in for Golding. Some more shooting back on the court for Coach Culler's squad. Reed at the line. A new SaberCat in the game, by the way, Bryant Sturgill. Sophomore out of Anderson, South Carolina, who, like Zeke Sturwald, who you've seen a couple times tonight, number 4, is on the soccer team. So both of those guys missed the first 5 games of the basketball season because they were finishing the soccer season. Sturwald, all-conference player, leading scorer on the pitch. 20-point lead for the Cougars, a hot start as Rudell has it near the top of the circle, over to Amos. That pass for Gaddy just kept it alive, but then the right heel over the line. It's a backcourt violation. What a sharp transition for those guys. And Sturgill and Sturwald to go straight from soccer season into basketball. I mean, you were a two-sport athlete in high school. You know that challenge.
That's impressive, I will say. And, you know, we've already seen on display some of the fine-tunes of soccer. They've been a lot quicker than some of the other guys on the SaberCats team because of their skill, and that's the advantage of playing multiple sports. That's why you're seeing a lot more encouragement of that in today's age, too.
A lot of noise from the Cougar bench. Coach gotta love that. Here's Stewart, the soccer star, misses off the front end of the rim. Now Amos on the run. Burns, Gaddy, gets it right back and puts it in. Jackson Gaddy.
It's a little give and take between Gaddy and Amos on who wanted to shoot that, but nice stroke there from Gaddy.
Cougars applying full court pressure, and they've got the SaberCats all out of sorts. 5 minutes to go in the first half. Concordia doubling up Maranatha Baptist.
This half has definitely been flying by, and credit to the Cougars for being so electric early and really just keeping their foot on the gas pedal no matter what throughout this game.
Cougar fans, Cougar basketball is brought to you in large part by Lutheran Public Radio. Listen to sacred music anytime, anywhere at LutheranPublicRadio.org or on the LPR app. This is Cougar basketball on the Cougar Sports Network. Back in a minute. Back at it from Geisman Gym. Close or far, Chicago Motor Coach has your group transportation needs covered. Chicago Motor Coach is proud to be the official transportation provider of CUC Athletics. Hope you're having a great Thursday night, folks. It's been all Cougars so far, doubling up the SaberCats. Up here in the CUC broadcast booth, Sam Brief, Carter Gledhill, happy to have you all along for the ride. It's O'Donnell, Burns Jr., Gaddy, Rudell, and Williams on the court. Cougars shooting 10 of 15 from behind the arc. After pouring in 8 threes against Aurora in the first half, we thought that was good. Just 5 on the shot clock and a steal for Maranatha Baptist. Sturgill on the run. He goes coast to coast, but he can't finish. Sanders on the putback, no good, and then he gets fouled on the putback of the putback. 2 free throws incoming for the Arkansas native. Aaron Sanders, the point guard. About a month ago, he had quite a career game in a December 14th contest against Martin Luther College. 10 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. A 10-10-10 triple-double, which a lot of his teammates joked almost was a quadruple-double because he had 7 turnovers.
That's not the one you want, though. That's not the one you want.
It technically would be a quadruple-double, though. But how about it, a 10-10-10 triple-double?
It's definitely hard to do. We see double-doubles are usually coming from, points and rebounds, but the assist side of that, it's pretty impressive, too.
Now, of course, you got guys in the NBA like Russell Westbrook. Luka Doncic seemingly getting a double-double, or a triple-double, excuse me, pretty much every other night. Here's Ball falling down and putting it in.
Great body control there from Ball, just collecting himself and throwing a good piece off the white of the backboard.
Williams a 3, in and out. Sanders up the court. Crossover all by himself. What a move for Aaron Sanders to shake off the defender. He gets to the hoop, and nice little run here for Maranatha Baptist. Cougar fans, you looking for a place to relax following a big Cougar win? Well, Doc Ryan's on Madison Street has all your post-game needs covered. Doc Ryan's a proud sponsor of Concordia Athletics. Full time out here, so we'll take a pause. You're watching Cougar basketball on the Cougar Sports Network. Back at it from Geisman Gym. Hope you're doing well. Sam Brief, Carter Gledhill, Cougars, Sabercats, all Concordia so far. Hitting 10 threes in the first half, and 4 of them coming from the guy who just gave up the ball, Rashawn Amos. Senior transfer from Blackburn College. 4 of 6 from behind the arc, 12 points for Rashawn. He's got the ball near the top of the circle, 10 to go. Reznikov dials it up, and he misses. Still a 19-point Cougar lead. Sanders trying to navigate. Feeds Wilkerson. Nice touch pass down low and ball.
We've seen the last few minutes the Sabercats have been really able to start running their offense a lot better compared to the beginning of the game. They're moving the ball and cutting faster off the screens, and they're definitely looking for the paint a little bit more and using the slip pass behind defenders when you get the 2-on-1 quickly. It's really been helping jumpstart the offense and trying a little get a run in the comeback.
Sabercats are a small team, so they run a 4-guard offense with one guy in the middle, and that's this guy, Wilkerson. Feeding ball, Taylor ball, kicks it out to Sanders. A tray is not too short. Shooter's touch for Aaron Sanders, and Maranatha Baptist now back within 14. 6-0 run for the Sabercats.
You see right now that the Sabercats trying to slow down the Cougar offense a little bit, and they have with the 2-3 zone. You mentioned it that Coach Burkhart was something that he wanted to say. It wasn't just man-to-man. He wanted to change it up because they really never had a defined defensive style.
Hatton from downtown, he drains it. Brent Hatton, his second tray of the night. 11 first-half threes from Concordia, whose season high is 13 in an entire ball game. Double dribble on ball. Another turnover. 7 now on the Sabercats. Here comes Rudell and O'Donnell for Reznikov and Kenta Jones. You'll often hear coaches talk about the last 2 minutes of each half being super important. Might be a 17-point lead for Concordia, but we saw Tuesday night, my friend, just how quickly some of those leads can vanish. They were up 20 against Aurora with about 7 minutes to go, and we look up with 45 seconds left. It's a 5-point game.
Well, part of that was, too, that the Spartans were in the bonus, and it's such a huge factor when you get that and you get a good free throw shooting team. The free throws really can get you back in the game, even if you're down by 20 points.
And at least in the first half, Concordia's done a really good job keeping Maranatha Baptist away from the charity stripe, committing just 6 fouls. Maranatha Baptist, 5 free throw attempts, and by the way, they've hit just 1 of them. Golding has trouble from 3, but O'Donnell gets it right back. Rudell thought about it. Instead, he's going to kick it out to Amos. He lets it fly. Bingo for Rashawn Amos. Make it 5 first-half threes for famous Amos.
Smart move by Rudell, too, because even if you didn't have Amos there, you're going to pull it out, wind some more clock off. But Amos with his hot hand right now, he's just unstoppable from behind the arc.
And now the shot clock off. Cougars can hold for the final shot, nursing a 22-point lead, an 8-0 run, and this is exactly how Coach Kohler wanted to close the half.
And talk about energy we've mentioned so many times that this team is so good at. This is going to be exciting, too, because later on in the game, you're going to get opportunities if you keep stretching it this way to get other players in.
Offensive foul on the Cougars. 2 seconds left. There's an illegal screen on Amos. So 2.3 on the clock. We'll see if the Sabercats have some magic up their sleeves. Ball from behind half court. Can't convert. 22-point halftime lead for Concordia. 54 first half points. Double digits already for Rashawn Amos. He's got 15 on 5 of 7 shooting from downtown. Zio Golding's got 11. Also 9 points for the freshman Brent Hatton. The 3 leading scorers from Tuesday night's game. each of them has picked up right where they left off, Carter.
And they've been helping each other out, too. As a team, 14 assists and a half. That's a fantastic number and something really exciting that you want to see from Coach Kohler with a high-scoring offense. Spread the wealth a little bit. How about you?
Welcome you into our CUC broadcast booth. You can get a look at my partner's mighty fine flannel jacket here. Sam Brief, Carter Gledhill, thanks for joining us. What a first half for the Cougars. 54-32 halftime lead. Lights out from downtown, 12 of 21. You wanted a fast start offensively. Hey, you got it.
And it was all from setting up in the fast break. When we've seen the ball movement, too, was just so fast around the perimeter that you get the opportunities when you get to stretch a team that we've seen kind of flat-footed at times in the SaberCats, really spread them out and get the three-pointer and the jump shots. And it's been fantastic to watch the Cougars tonight so far.
All Cougars so far. We'll take a halftime break here on the CUC Cougar Sports Network. We'll talk to you in about 10 minutes with the second half. Maranatha Baptist against Concordia. More basketball on the other side.
CIT coming on January.
Back at it for the second half from Geisman Gym, and as you can see by the graphic on your screen, it's been all Cougars so far. 54-32 Concordia on top of Maranatha Baptist, and that 12 for 21 mark from behind the arc is the biggest reason why. Rashawn Amos, he's responsible for 5 of them, and responsible for both voices that you're hearing are these two knuckleheads up in the broadcast booth, Sam Brief, Carter Gledhill. Carter, of course it was a fast start for Concordia, but what's something they got to do to keep it going up 22 now in the second half?
I think the biggest thing is the offense is going to take care of itself, especially for the Cougars with the high pace that they're playing at. Defensive side, couple possessions. They just need to clean up on the communication side of it. The offense for the SaberCats is pretty easy to read. Like we said, not a lot of height. It's just more pick and roll and kind of slip passes into the paint. And towards the end of the half, we saw a little bit more of the help side. Defense for the Cougars play a bigger role in preventing the offense from scoring. So just cleaning it up on the defensive side might be a little bit better for the Cougars because their offense right now is in a league of its own.
By the way, for you historians at home, the Cougars have 12 threes right now. Math would tell you they're on pace for 24, although we know the world doesn't necessarily work like that. If they get 20, that would be a new Concordia program record. So we'll watch for that, see if they can hit 8 threes. If they do get to 20, who's most likely to hit that 20th or 21st three, I guess, would be the record breaker?
We're saying the trend tonight, it's probably going to be Amos. But
That
I would
seems like a
really
safe
like
answer.
to see Hatton. That would be kind
Yep,
of nice to
okay.
see him, too. But on that note, too, the Cougars are 1-3 shy of tying a season-high 13 three-pointers against Benedictine in that game on the 16th of December that they won against the nationally ranked Eagles.
That was a fun night on December 16th, and the Cougars, with 4 conference wins, 2 of them are against the top 2 teams in the conference, both Benedictine and Wisconsin Lutheran. And fans, we'd like to remind you that the 69th annual Concordia Invitational Tournament is just around the corner. Don't miss your chance to be a part of this very special 2-day event. To get more information and save yourself a couple bucks, go to cucougars.com/CIT. That's cucougars.com/CIT. Get your tickets today. Stephen Wilkerson took a hard spill. Moment to get up. Good to see the young man back on his feet. Seems to be okay as the foul went against Golding, and Wilkerson will hang in there and shoot the free throws. Walking around a little bit. Got to make sure he's okay. Took a hard fall on the hardwood. And the young man out of Dallas just taking a moment for himself.
2-shot foul at the line, number 23, Stephen Wilkerson.
Wilkerson, an 89% free throw shooter on the season. 34 of 38. Now he's above the 90% mark. He goes 2 for 2 after taking a hard spill. Easier said than done. I feel like if I took a spill like that, I'd have a hard time getting up, let alone getting up and then draining 2 free throws under some pressure.
It's like saying you're a guy on the bench saying take the charge, but when you're the guy with the guy coming at you, you're not really going to take the charge.
Here's Golding from mid-range, right on the NCAA logo. He can't convert. It's SaberCat ball. First half leading scorers for Concordia, the same 3 who led the way against Aurora. Amos with 15, Golding with 11, and Hatton with 9. Isaac Rudell, who's got the ball right now, also poured in 6, draining 2 threes. He's got the ball, gives it to Golding, straightaway 3, cash money, Zio Golding. That's 13 threes, tying a season high for the Cougs. Wilkerson from downtown. He arcs it too strong. SaberCats get it right back. Sanders with a nice nifty move.
Getting around the setup charge there from O'Donnell. Nice little round, almost Euro step too. Really finessed around there with the good footwork.
Hatton wide open now. Offensive board. Golding, too strong off the glass.
Like what Hatton did there, though, really just getting himself more time to take a shot, seeing the defender flying out. You didn't have to force anything there, and that was a smart move by the freshman.
Is that kind of vision, thinking ahead like that, something you see as part of the maturation process? Because I feel like a lot of freshmen would just get the ball and shoot right away.
Yeah, you see it, you get really excited. You just want to put it up and see it go in. But it's something that we've seen Hatton been doing a good job of as well. Even Tavares Williams really kind of maturing as well and not being so frantic when he gets the ball. Really just slowing it down and running the offense, because you can see under control this Cougar offense really moves the ball well, and you will find your opening shot if you move it around.
Hatton passes on a three. Now Amos lets it go, and for the second time today, he'll have a chance for a 4-point play. Right in front of his own bench, Rashawn Amos drills his 5th three of the night.
What a fantastic play, too. We talk about ball movement. Amos going one side to the other, took 4 passes around the top, and it had the SaberCats all out of sorts. Great look there and set up for Amos by the Cougars.
This is his night. Last time he didn't drain the free throw. This time Amos converts. His first converted 4-point play of the night, but the second time he had a chance. What a night for Rashawn Amos. 18 points, or actually 19 points now. His last 3 games, he's scored 21. And O'Donnell makes it. Neil O'Donnell getting in on the 3-point party.
Another stat we've been keeping our eye on, too, is the assists in the game. The Cougars right now have 16. The season high is of 19 against Rockford on the 4th of January. Second to that was 17 against Marion way back at the beginning.
Amos misses a 3. Hard fall on the board. That's Taylor Ball taking a spill to the hardwood. That'll bring out the mop. Brudell with his 3rd foul takes a seat on the bench. Gaddy comes in. So does Resnikoff. Much needed breather for Rashawn Amos, who will take a seat. Amos, who's on the bench right now, came in with averaging 19 points a game over the last 5. And just about 24 minutes into this game, he's at 19. 6 of 9 from behind the arc. He's only taken 1 shot from inside 3-point range, and he missed it. So you got to just keep it behind the arc, right?
Heat check right there, looking good from behind the arc.
No, and Stewart with a feisty steal, but then O'Donnell pokes it away from behind him.
Great job by O'Donnell there on the steal, not trying to reach around on the backside. He got in front of the offense right there, and that's why he didn't get called for coming under for usually a foul on the defense.
Mayhack a 3, too strong. Maranatha Baptist 6 for 18 from behind the arc, shooting 36% from the field. That one swirls in out of the left hand of Brett Hatton. He's in double figures with 12. Amos set to check back in alongside his freshman teammate, Tavares Williams. For Maranatha Baptist, it's Bryant Sturgill and Tyler Reed. Reed, a native of Boyd, Texas, calls himself a Southern boy with a lot of Texas pride. Boyd, a suburb just north of Dallas. A very famous dog was actually born and bred in Boyd, Reed's hometown. Can you tell me? If you get this one, I would, I guess I can't reimburse you on air, but I'll reimburse you with something.
Is it a pit bull?
No.
I don't know then.
No, cute little dog, born in the same spot as Tyler Reed.
No idea.
How about one Bo Obama? The Obama's
Oh, wow.
Portuguese water dog.
That's some good facts digging right there.
One of the most famous residents of Boyd. Here's Sturwald, up and under. He was fouled. With all the talk of cats in this game, with the Cougars, Sabercats, got to get a little canine flavor on the air. How about a little chicken flavor on the air? Chick-fil-A is a proud sponsor of Concordia University Athletics. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Chick-fil-A in Melrose Park has you covered. Chick-fil-A, eat more chicken.
At the line is number 4, seeks Sturwald. He will shoot one more.
Sturwald off to the right. For the second time in this game, Reznikov snares a rebound with one hand. Here's Gaddy, short jumper, falls short. Caleb Moultrie just checked back in the game. He charges to the hoop and misses off to the right. Williams, the freshman, gives it to Rudell, the sophomore. Isaac knifing into the lane, stops, turns. Reznikov now, turning, passing. Amos has the ball. Cougars moving it around well. Williams a three. It's off. Rebound to Moultrie and the Sabercats. Maranatha Baptist, the only independent team in D3, and one of their guys gets rejected by Rudell, stuffing Moultrie. And here comes Kenta Jones.
We just love saying Sabercats, don't we?
I could say Sabercats all day.
It's a fun name to say.
Here's Sturwald. Can't get it to go. Williams fighting hard for the board. It's a jump ball. It'll go to Concordia.
Jump ball, possession, Concordia.
It's a young Maranatha Baptist team, the Sabercats, as we've documented a couple times tonight. Only 3 players on the squad. That's Sturwald, Sanders, and Wilkerson. Saw meaningful time on varsity last year. So in Joel Borkhardt's first season at the helm of the program, he's had to kind of grow with it. A lot of new faces. Reznikov misses the lefty layup, but gets his own board. Charlie fighting hard, foul called against the Sabercats. The Sabercat roster, in fact, 78% underclassmen. No seniors. Got 7 freshmen, 7 sophomores, 4 juniors. Not a single senior. They had 6 last year and lost all of them to graduation. 3-5, but coming off a big win over Emmaus. They've been trounced so far here in River Forest. Williams driving hard and laying it nicely off the glass. It's a 30-point Cougar lead.
I love the vision that this young freshman has, seeing that he has the one-on-one opportunity with the lane open, and all it took was a quick ball dribble and finesse the layup with a nice move.
Kenta Jones with the ball. Cougars moving it around the perimeter. Rudell swings it for Williams. Thought about the 3, now he's inside. Stops, turns, passes to Jones, who will reset the Cougar offense. Here's Kenta at the top of the circle. Nice little crossover, turns around, and the 5'7" Jones puts it in with a little shooter's touch.
Great roll there, seeing it, not forcing the contested layup, pulling it out when he saw no other options. Just float it up in there and let the rim do the rest of the work.
Sanders charged into Rudell.
Offensive foul on number 5, Sanders. His third.
Cougars led 54-32 at halftime, and they haven't slowed down at all. In fact, they're on a 16-2 run over the last 4:58. Golding just checked in. Reznikov with the ball, turns, and with the right hand, he can't convert. By the way, Sharing has been caring tonight for Concordia. 19 assists, matches a season high. Still 12 and a half minutes to play. I have a feeling a lot of single-season marks might be passed in this game. Shooting 16 of 29 from behind the arc as O'Donnell comes in for Amos. Cougars at a 55% clip from the field. Maranatha Baptist just 35. Concordia out-rebounding the SaberCats by 9. Out-assisting them by 8. It's been all Concordia. Outside here, Sturgill. Nice little Euro step. Resnikov was standing right there, and Sturgill just went around him.
And nothing Resnikov could do there, because if he did move his feet, just let it finish with that. Great play by Williams.
Seen some nice flashes from Tavares. No good from Sturgill. And the aforementioned Tavares with the ball, but he gives it up to one of the elder statesmen of this squad, Neil O'Donnell, who sets a screen for Golding. Now Williams a three. Too strong. 33-point lead for Concordia. Dwayne Burns Jr., Isaac Rudell, both set to check in, taking their seats at the scorer's table. Here's a corner three. Good. Stephen Wilkerson, whose name we haven't said in a couple minutes. Now over the double-digit mark with 10 points, 2 of 4 shooting from downtown. Jones just in front of the free throw line. He was blocked. Wilkerson has almost a foot on him. Here's Moultrie bullying his way to the lane. And he'll have a free trip to the free throw line. Sam Brief and Carter Gledhill up here in the broadcast booth as a part of our fantastic CSN squad. Headed up by the great CJ Selner, Shelby Spitz, Ryan McGee, Grace Miller, all packed inside Geisman Gym on a warm Thursday. And Cougar fans, this game is brought to you in part by Lutheran Public Radio, where you can listen to sacred music anytime, anywhere. Just head over to lutheranpublicradio.org or visit the LPR app. 3 new Cougars into the ball game, including Hatton Jaron Gaddy, brother of Jackson, wearing number 35, and also Dwayne Burns Jr. Rudell's got the ball. Far side wing, kicks to Burns. Dwayne Burns Jr. Headband on, rec specs on. He's ready to roll. Number 30 standing on the right wing, waiting for it. He gets it. 10 on the shot clock. Now Hatton. Knifes into the lane. Kicks to Burns, but over Dwayne's head. MBU ball. Burns Jr. didn't get any run in the first couple weeks of the season, but the last few games with Jalen Meeks and Landon Gladney out with injury, he's played some significant minutes. Hasn't converted on a field goal attempt yet, playing in just 5 games in his Concordia career. Dwayne Burns Jr., Maywood, Illinois native. Made his name on the defensive side in high school, where he was his school's all-time steals leader. Maybe we could see Dwayne get his first college bucket tonight. He's got the ball at the left wing, whips it into Rudell, and Isaac quickly fouled with 10:09 to go, and Concordia on top by 26.
Fouls on number 2, Taylor Ball, his 4th, team 5th. And for the SaberCats, number 11, Tyler Reed.
SaberCat ball after Golding couldn't quite keep himself contained under the hoop. And now Sturwald, little shake and bake near the left wing. Inside for Reed. The Texas kid converts. He'll have a chance for 3.
A really good job there of working around Burns and using the height difference that he had and just being strong up there, even when 3 Cougars defenders converged on him.
Reed way off. SaberCats have struggled from the charity stripe, just 5 of 12. Mayhack no good from 3. Reed gets it right back, and he missed the free throw, but in that one possession, he got 4 points to his name. Burns Jr. near the top of the circle, whips it over to Gaddy. Over to Rudell. Isaac all by himself, but suddenly not, as he was stripped, and then watches Zio Golding convert. Plus the foul, Zio to the line.
Right place, right time, and that's just he's been so strong and just so athletic. We've seen throughout the year. Anytime you get a contested layup or anything, he's always going to be powering up through there, and that's why he gets so many and-one opportunities.
Timeout, MBU. It's 78-54, CUC on top. We'll take a quick pause. This is Cougar basketball on the Cougar Sports Network. Back in a moment from Geisman. Back at it from Cougarland. Zio Golding at the free throw line. Cougar fans, close or far, Chicago Motor Coach has your group transportation needs covered. Chicago Motor Coach, proud to be the official transportation provider of CUC Athletics. Golding converts the three-point play, and Chad Abadessa checks in. First time we're seeing Chad in the ball game. Lifted is Golding. Abadessa, 6'4" senior out of Santa Rosa, California. Long three for Wilkerson, and he missed it. 25 points, that's the Cougar lead as Burns Jr. shovels it over to Hatton. 9 minutes to go, it's been all Concordia. Cougars shooting over 50% from the field from behind the arc and 75% from the free throw line. Pretty good numbers for Coach Collar's squad. On the flip side, MBU below 40% from behind the arc and the field as Hatton juices up the CUC numbers even a bit more. Make it 18 made threes for Concordia. Just 2 shy of a program record. That's 20.
Like the aggressiveness there from Jared. He's just a little too late on the setup for the charge, but I like the idea, especially if you got an open lane like that. Just get someone in front of there, and if he was a little earlier, it would have been a charge.
Sanders misses. Well, this ball game, 28 points. Certainly a couple free throws wouldn't make a difference, but Maranatha Baptist not helping its cause at the charity stripe. Just 5 of 13. Make it 5 of 14 with that miss from Sanders. Just 35% clip for the SaberCats. Here's Hatton, who's got 15 points. And now Rudell over to Gaddy. Right back to Burns Jr. Well, feisty inside Rudell. Gets it poking away from him with 8 minutes on the clock. SaberCat ball down by 28. Sanders loses it, gets it back, loses it, gets it back. Over his head and out of bounds. What a sequence. Wow.
exciting. We'll say, so we've seen the SaberCats come out into the 2-3 zone for the last couple possessions, and you've seen the Cougars do a good job so far of just moving the ball outside, and they haven't really been forcing everything. The one thing you don't want to do so much is when you get Rudell, who's at the top of the free throw line like you just saw, you don't want to force it there and get stuck.
Hatton, corner three. Yes, sir. Brent Hatton with his 5th three of the night. Cougs one away from a program record. (85-54), absolute domination for Concordia tonight.
That three from Hatton actually is now the 6th one. That is now a new season high for him in 3-point field goals made in this season.
We've had a couple of those tonight. What's going to happen when you score 85 points? As Jaron Gaddy gets in on the action. That's 23s for Concordia. They've tied a program record, and the bench mob fired up. Couple subs here. Kenta Jones comes in. And so does Joel Childers, much to the delight of some in the crowd. Childers, 5'9" junior out of Southgate, Michigan. And Gaddy with the lay-in. 90 points for Concordia. All Cougars. The bench mob fired up. The crowd fired up. And the SaberCats continue to struggle offensively. So Joel Childers getting some action. He's someone who we haven't seen too much of this year. Just 7 minutes for Joel. It's the 5th time he's gotten in a ball game. He scored 2 back on November 23rd against Marion. And now we'll have a chance to add on to the total. So Concordia with 19 threes so far. One of those didn't count. 19 of 33 from behind the arc. So one more still to tie the program record of 20. It's been an impressive outing, to say the least. As Coach Collar's team looks to go back-to-back. Mad scramble for the rebound, and MBU comes up with it. Here's Sturgill outside to Moultrie. Crossover between the legs. He lets it go. Too strong. Stays with the SaberCats. Ben Parker whistled for a foul as Moultrie puts it in. Parker just checked in, 23 in white. Freshman for Concordia, or excuse me, senior for Concordia. 6'4" out of Grayslake, Illinois, Ben Parker into the ball game.
Moultrie completes the three-point play.
Gaddy misses a 3. So Concordia's got 90 points. Looking at some of their best outings of the season, they scored 100 back on November 23rd against Marion, piled up 116 in an overtime win over Wisconsin Lutheran on December 7th. So that would be the number to beat, but that was in overtime as Gaddy takes the charge. And with 5.5 to go, Concordia is up 31. And Carter Gledhill, one more 3 would tie the program record of 20 made threes in a game. So we might see some history here in Geisman Gym. I'm told by the great CJ Selner, who runs the show here, that that record was set sometime in the late 90s. So it's been at least 20 years. As MBU will take the ball with Moultrie. So Carter, obviously a lot of eye-popping numbers tonight. For you in terms of building going forward and looking at what this team can learn from this night and take it into the rest of NAC play, Which one stands out the most as sort of a building block?
I would think it would be the 3-point shooting. It's really exciting when you get to a three-pointer. It really electrify and turn around if you're in a slump or the other team's going on a run. It's something that can really change the course of the game. And it's something that we've seen individuals for the Cougars really excel at, and one of them being Brett Hatton. But tonight we've been seeing guys like Amos coming out and shooting. Golding's gotten a couple threes too. Neil O'Donnell is sharing the well. Everybody's getting in on the shooting action.
Childers trying to get in. He's in and out as Parker gets the board and watches it go out of bounds off of MBU. So 19 threes tonight for Concordia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different players have hit from downtown. Out of all of them, Amos has hit the most. 6 of 9 from downtown. Hatton 5 of 8. Gaddy's got a 3. He bounced it off the knee that time of Bryant Sturgill.
Entering the game for the SaberCats, number 3, Jed Mahan, and also number 23, Stephen Wilkerson.
So Concordia picked up a big dub Tuesday against Aurora, well on their way to a dominant win here against Maranatha Baptist. And then Steve Kohler's squad will hit the road. 4 consecutive road games. You've got Saturday at Dominican, Tuesday at Concordia, Wisconsin, and then 2 more road games before they come back home the night of the 24th for the CIT, the Concordia Invitational Tournament. So big-time road swing coming up, and during that time we expect to see Landon Gladney inserted back in the lineup, Jalen Meeks. And Carter, that's something we're kind of forgetting about tonight. Cougars have been so mighty impressive without 2 of their best players.
And that's the exciting thing to see. Even without their 2 best players, they're still continuing their offensive success throughout the season.
Gaddy kisses it off the glass. Yeah, Jalen Meeks, junior out of Colorado. 2nd in the NAC in points per game before he went down with an injury. And Landon Gladney, who had 6 straight games in double figures before he was injured, is out with an ankle. Both those guys will likely be back by the start of the CIT. And then this team gets even scarier. As if tonight hasn't been scary enough. Here's Gaddy from the corner. He nails it! Jaron Gaddy pours in the 20th 3 of the night for the Cougars. They've tied a program record.
It's exciting to see the freshman getting his opportunity now, because we didn't really get to see him a lot at the beginning of the year, but now he's proven his point. And you can see Coach Kohler putting his brother in the game soon.
And here comes his brother, Jackson, checking into the game. The Gaddy brothers out of Louisville, Kentucky. Jackson, number 4, Jaron, number 35. And both of them together right now, as you see Jaron pass it to Jackson. All smiles from the Gaddy bros, both of whom have had a part in that record. Jaron hitting 2 of the threes, Jackson with 1, and another 3 from the Cougars would break the program record, set a new mark. Here's Childers. He drains it. Joel Childers from downtown. And Concordia has set a new program record, 21 threes. And how about Joel Childers scoring just his 5th points of the season to be the guy who sets the record?
And you gotta love the guys on the bench, the starters, the guys that aren't playing, the energy that they're bringing, cheering on the guys in this game now. And it's a great sight to see from the Concordia Cougar bench mob.
That was just the 6th made 3 of Childers' career and the 21st of the night for Concordia. A new program record. Historic night here at Geisman. 31-point lead. as Brendan Caldwell misses the free throw, but then, like a little Christmas present, gets the ball right back. Fresh face in the game, number 30 for the SaberCats, Braden Hansel. Watertown, Wisconsin native and a freshman who was the intended recipient of the pass. The actual recipient was Childers, who misses the three. Gaddy the board, and Ben Parker, easy layup. How about a cool 100 points for Concordia? They break the triple-digit mark.
Top of that, too, they've been absolutely destroying the season high of assists. They're at 28 now, compared to what originally was before this of 19. So sharing is caring tonight for the Cougars.
Season high for regulation points is 100. Cougars now have exactly 2 minutes to go to eclipse it. Gaddy with the ball. Free run at the hoop, but Brendan Caldwell had other ideas, punching it through. And now a fresh trio of SaberCats checks in. Reed, Moultrie, and Josh Davis. Cougar fans, Cougars going to win this game, and you might be looking for a place to relax following the win. Well, Doc Ryan's on Madison Street has all your post-game needs covered. Doc Ryan's a proud sponsor of CUC Athletics. Hope you'll hang around for our Cougar post-game show. Instant analysis will break down the numbers and invite first-year head coach Steve Kohler up into the broadcast booth for a little post-game conversation. Always good to chat with Coach after a Cougar win. Boy, he was fired up when we brought him up here after the Aurora game.
Yeah, it looks like they got a technical foul right now for flopping on Gaddy. First time I've seen that all year. But that's something that the NCAA has really talked to their officials about, really eliminating the flop, and that's a little too much selling right there.
Well, we're not in Europe, and we're not playing soccer, so there's no place for the flop, right?
No.
Caleb Moultrie, technical free throw, makes it a 30-point ball game.
Interesting because they did give a warning to O'Donnell early on in the game. One of those varies by officiating crew. Last night doing the women's game, actually was the other way around. They were calling charges left and right in that game. So it really just differs from officiating crews, but something interesting that we've seen an increase on this year.
That was a nail-biter for the Cougars women's squad, dropping a tough one to Aurora.
It was. But the best thing is that it's a young women's Concordia team, and there's a lot of youth on that team that's going to carry over too.
Yeah, they fell to Aurora last night. They'll be back in action Saturday at Dominican. Next home game for the women here at Geisman Gym. Week from tonight, Thursday, 7 o'clock tip against Lakeland. Hope you'll join us. Ben Parker whistled for the foul with just a tick under a minute left, and the Cougs up by 32. Also have volleyball season right around the corner. Men's volleyball season coming up. Cougars hosted Media Day for the volleyball team, and they'll open up their season on Tuesday, 6 o'clock. Game starts against Judson. 2 games next week for the men's volleyball team. That's a preseason game Tuesday, and then the real run starts Friday night, 7 o'clock, welcoming Adrian College into Geisman Gym. So at end of January, stuff heating up here in Geisman as Gaddy misses the layup. Rebound to MBU. Just 40 seconds left. And Cougars well on their way to their largest win of the season. Missed 3 there. 31 points. We haven't said their names in a couple minutes since they've been resting on the bench, but the same trio led the way tonight. Rashawn Amos, Brent Hatton, and Zio Golding, the three Cougars in double figures alongside Jaron Gaddy, pouring in a quiet 12 points in just 11 minutes on 5 of 7 shooting, 2 of 3 from behind the arc. How about Jaron Gaddy, who hasn't played much this season, coming in and pouring in double figures?
And this is the chance that when you're given by a coach, you come in, you prove yourself, and look to see maybe a little bit more increased time, especially coming up, proving himself now, and it's good because the CIT is coming up, and I think everybody wants to play in that tournament.
The lead for Concordia just under 30 now, 28-point lead, 15 seconds to go. Probably expect Concordia to just dribble this one out or pass it out, which would be fitting because Concordia got a season-high 28 assists tonight and a program record 21 threes in a 28-point win. Concordia's biggest win of the season, 102-74. The Cougars pick up their second W in a row behind another dominant outing from Rashawn Amos, who poured in double figures for the 7th consecutive game. And Carter Gledhill, you wanted a fast start, but you got a 20-plus point halftime lead, and then the Cougars never put back. This one was an absolute rout.
And it was a rout as a team effort. I mean, we talk about what a great game this was. New program record for made threes in a game, new record, new high in assists in a game. And if we're looking at it correctly, they now also had the lowest amount of turnovers in a game. It was an awesome game to watch as before these Cougars go on a long road stretch before they're back here for CIT.
Rashawn Amos led the way, 19 points for the senior transfer, 6 of 9 from behind the arc. And the job he did with 2 4-point plays, well, he missed the free throw on the first one, but he had a chance for 2 4-point plays, and he absolutely crushed it. Amos with 19 points. Brent Hatton, he piled on 18 points of his own on 5 of 8 shooting, and then 17 for Zio Golding, the fifth-year senior, on 2 of 4 shooting from behind the arc. A program record, 21 threes for the Cougars. And in a moment, we'll welcome first-year head coach Steve Kohler into the broadcast booth. And he's coming up right now, moving up the bleachers. Coach Kohler, always love watching him hop the fence. We have a little barrier for him to get over, and this time he flashes the athleticism coming into our broadcast booth. Coach Kohler, the sharp gray suit tonight. I think you were rocking black the other night, but it's the gray working out for you tonight. Coach Kohler, welcome into the booth. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Hey, your team set a program record tonight, 21 threes.
Wow.
What does that mean to you?
How many assists do we have?
28.
All right, I take it. That's just being unselfish and sharing a basketball. I don't think we saw too many contested threes or shots, in general. So they're doing a great job of creating that ball speed and playing unselfishly and moving it. And guys can shoot it. So that's good. Playing unselfish. Love to see that.
I talked to you early in the season about Rashawn and sort of his progression from his time at Blackburn to here at Concordia. At the time, he had been struggling a bit from behind the arc, and you told me he's about to explode. You just watch. Well, he has exploded. 7 straight games with double figures. He couldn't miss tonight.
Yeah. I mean, he's a player, It's just a matter of time. He was just kind of trying to figure out, what his role was going to be and get in a groove. And then we talked about this last time. The thing that I just loved about it, though, was like, he had 11 rebounds and 9 rebounds, and then he was leading the league in assists and defense, and he wasn't making shots, and there's plenty other ways to affect the game, and that's what Shano did that entire time. And then now he's kind of found his groove, shooting the ball, so.
What does it do mentally for your team when you get a quick start? Because now back-to-back nights, you've had such fast starts, and it's felt like your team's had a stranglehold on the game. What does that do for you?
Oh, that's huge. It's setting the tone. We talk about winning the fours. That's the first 4 of the half, the last 4 of the second half, the first 4 of the second half, and then finishing the game. And so that was one of our keys. And so that's what we always want to jumpstart right off the bat and be ready to go. We want to set the tone defensively, and I think we did that early on. But I didn't think the first half we defended as hard as we did in the second half.
With a game like this, you win by 28. You have a chance to bring in some reserves at the end of the game. We saw you empty your bench. Jaron Gaddy piled on a quiet 12 points. How about getting some of the reserves in, and what does that mean for Jaron?
I mean, that's awesome. I mean, those guys work hard. You know, the standard is the same for them when they go in. It's not like, let's go jack shots. Like, let's guard, let's get into our ball screen D and move the ball, and that's great. I mean, Jaron can play, you know. I mean, we have some younger guys that we just have some guys that are better ahead of them right now, and they continue to get better, and when it's their time to step up, you know, they'll be there. But that's awesome to see.
Wonderful. Coach, appreciate having you up here in the booth.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Team looking good. Back-to-back wins against Aurora and Maranatha Baptist. That was head coach Steve Kohler. Always a joy to have him in the booth, excuse me, Coach, as he hops back onto the court. And I welcome Carter Gledhill back up here as we will wrap this one up on the CUC Broadcast Network. So, Carter, tonight, program record for threes. Obviously, that's the storyline. You had Amos, Golding, Hatton, and Jaron Gaddy in double figures. For you, what will you most remember about this night for Concordia other than that three-point record?
Well, besides what I loved about the side from the Cougars with the offense and the defensive competitiveness, I really found what Coach Kohler just said to be one thing that I love about his coaching style. He said he's always looking for stuff that would improve on, and he said that they found something in the first half in their defense that they weren't going as hard, and so they changed it in the second half. And just seeing that even in a game like this, a coach so competitive and trying to bring out the best in his players, even his reserve players, it's something that's exciting to watch in only his first season as head coach for these Cougars.
So the final score tonight, Cougars 102, SaberCats 74, a program record 21 threes tonight for Concordia. And the Cougs will be back in action on the road for the next 4 games. Saturday at Dominican, Tuesday at Concordia, Wisconsin. 4 straight road games before the CIT tournament starting on January the 24th. And just remember, you can head over to cucougars.com/CIT to get your tickets for the CIT today. For our wonderful CSN crew, the man in charge, CJ Selner, my broadcast partner, Carter Gledhill, producer, Shelby Spitz, camera technicians, Ryan McGee and Grace Miller. I'm Sam Brief signing off from Geisman Gym. 28-point win for Concordia tonight. We'll be back at it for the CIT, and have a great rest of your Thursday.